these women groping him as a kid, and you're like, we would not stand for that if that was a little girl. So why aren't we protecting that little boy the same way? It's disgusting.
Good point. Bieber seems pretty traumatized from it.
Of course. I mean, I think it's so easy to write off boys in general. Like girls, it's very easy to get behind and want to protect a sweet little girl, but boys toughen up really quick, or they can handle it.
Tired of feeling like your voice is being drowned out on social media? It's time to experience the new Parler, where your voice is heard, your opinions matter, and your freedom to speak is respected. Parler is back, and it's better than ever. Reimagined to give you the ultimate control over your content. No confusing algorithms deciding what you see, no hidden agendas, just real, authentic conversations. Share your thoughts, connect with like-minded people, and be part of a community where your free speech truly thrives. At Parler, your privacy is always a priority. Your data belongs to you. We're here to empower users, not control them. Whether you're engaging in discussions, sharing news, or just staying connected, Parler is the platform where you are in charge. Ready to take back control? Download the Parler app today on iOS or Android and join the movement. It's your voice, your platform. Let it be heard. Go to the App Store or Google Play Store today. Download Parler now, where you have the power.
All right, guys, Candice Horbacz here today. We are in Vegas. Thanks for coming on.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Absolutely. You just came from InfoWars studio, huh?
Yeah, I did. A big change.
Getting some hate for that.
Yeah, I did. I lost 1,000 followers the minute I posted that picture.
Damn.
Yeah.
That is crazy.
1,000.
Was that on Instagram or Twitter?
Instagram.
Oh, Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
A huge tank.
Yeah, some platforms are really like hateful of him. So it seems like Twitter loves him though.
Twitter does love him, and I mean he's got like a really loyal audience. But it was me at his desk, and I just was like a 5-minute missed the guy by 5 minutes, so I didn't even get to meet him. And people still were just coming for me, and they're like, "What about this, this, and this, and this?" And I'm like, "Okay, but what about all of these other things? And then are you also holding every single person that's in front of a camera to the same standard that you're holding him?
Right.
Like you're not allowed to make a mistake." And then there's also the question about intent, like are the mistakes malicious or are they mistakes? Because that matters too.
Yeah. Yeah, I noticed you've been posting some political stuff lately, right?
Yes.
So was that the main reason you were out there?
Yeah, doing a couple political shows. I think it's that time of year, and for me, it's kind of like my sport. I don't really watch sports, but I get into politics, and my girlfriends will have election parties, and it's so funny because the one, she's like super Southern belle, conservatives as they come, married a really liberal surgeon, and he is just so annoyed, and they've got like the foghorns and everything. It's so good. It's so much fun.
I don't know if I can marry the total opposite like that.
I don't know if I could either.
Because that's too much of a,
right.
You know, like I don't think I can marry a liberal, like super liberal, maybe a little bit. Because I grew up Democrat, but now it's like.
My family was always conservative.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
What state were you in?
California.
Really? So
but he was a cop, so like they tend to lean right. My dad was a cop, and then my mom, her family is like they immigrated over here, so I think that they also tend to be a little bit more conservative. So
that makes sense. Did you see the IRS union just backed Kamala?
Yeah, and I was like, how is that a win? You're like, that's a brag? Everyone hates that department. Like, we're trying to abolish it, so okay.
I've been surprised with some of these recent celebrity endorsements towards her. They must have. Steph Curry did one. There's a bunch of music artists that just backed her. But it's like shocking to me. Taylor Swift.
Yeah, but that one's, you saw that one coming. You know what I mean?
I don't know. There were rumors she might go Trump.
Really?
Country artists generally are.
Yeah, but she's fake country. She's from Pennsylvania and then is pretending to be kind of like the hometown girl, which she's not.
Yeah.
Never has been.
But it makes you wonder if they actually support them or they're just getting deals, you know?
Probably deals, because we do know that they're getting paid. Some people are getting paid for endorsements. And then I think it's also playing the game. Like, you kind of know which way the system wants you to be, so you want to play nice in the sandbox so that you can keep getting opportunities. Because if you're like the loud one that is opposing the group, then you're difficult to work with. We don't want you on the same set. So I think it's also go along to get along to some extent.
Yeah, they do sacrifice a lot. You're seeing all the Diddy backlash. Holy crap.
That's crazy.
I can't believe it.
I'm not surprised, but I am surprised at, I guess, like what they're like the bottles of baby oil is like 1,000 bottles of baby oil seems really excessive. Like, obviously that's not illegal in and of itself, but kind of weird.
No, it's definitely weird.
Definitely weird. And then now it's anyone that has a picture with him is kind of getting thrown into this. And that isn't entirely fair because you don't know what people are doing behind closed doors. So to automatically assume everyone is kind of involved doesn't seem fair, but we shall see.
But don't let allergies keep you up at night. Sambrosa Night Syrup is your more homeopathic solution for a restful night. Blending the sweetness of a honey base with 7 organic herbs and a small dose of antihistamine, Sambrosa provides effective relief from allergy symptoms while calming your body for a peaceful night's rest. It's over-the-counter, gentle, and made from the ingredients you trust. Wake up refreshed with Sambrosa Night Syrup. Visit Sambrosa.com today and rest easy tonight.
I didn't realize how many people were like tied to him. Now these celebrities are deleting all their tweets. There was Pink yesterday, and then Usher the day before, and Megan Fox deleted all her tweets today, I think.
Oh, weird.
So,
yeah, the Pink video that was going around was really unnerving. So how old was Bieber in it? Did you see it?
The Usher and Bieber one?
No, Bieber and Pink.
Oh, she kissed him, right?
She was really groping him,
Right.
and it was a compilation of all of these women groping him as a kid, and you're like, we would not stand for that if that was a little girl. So why aren't we protecting that little boy the same way? It's disgusting.
Good point. Bieber seems pretty traumatized from it.
Of course. I mean, I think it's so easy to write off boys in general. Like girls, it's very easy to get behind and want to protect a sweet little girl, but boys, it's toughen up really quick, or they can handle it, or, oh man, that'd be so cool if my teacher, no, they're still a child. And I remember this one time I was at a concert. And as you know, if anyone's been to any event, the women's bathroom is always a freaking mess. And there's a line.
Yeah.
And this mom had brought her probably like 8-year-old son in with her to the bathroom, and it's just filled with women. He is so physically uncomfortable.
Damn.
Just like so like they have feelings too, and like their safety and body matter too. So those videos are disgusting, and I think that we should treat it the same way if he was a little girl in that.
Yeah, we'll see what happens with Diddy, man. You think he'll make it out of this?
Bieber or Diddy? No, I don't think so. I think there's just way too much evidence stacked.
Yeah.
Right? And
he's
then
on watch.
Yeah, there's that, and then that video that came out with him beating Cassidy.
I saw that, yeah.
Obviously not a good dude.
Yeah, in the hotel room. That's terrible, man.
Yeah.
They're saying Jay-Z's next.
I've heard that. Because there have been like a lot of rumors, and it's all like tinfoily, and I have no idea what I'm talking about. I'm just regurgitating what I've heard other people theorize, but that he was like involved in like certain other deaths, and that there's like a whole elite thing behind the scenes, and who knows?
Who knows? We're not right?
No,
yeah,
no. Very happy, very live.
Very happy. We're voting in 2 months.
Yes,
and Nevada should go right. I think this election.
Do you think so?
Last election it wasn't right, but I think this time it's looking better. So I hope so. I've never voted, but I'm gonna probably vote this year.
What do you think people here care about the most that kind of sways their...
The no tip is huge for Vegas because we're such a service-based city. So I think that alone will win a ton of votes.
But then didn't Kamala copy Trump's campaign? So Trump announced that first, and then she now is saying she's doing the same
thing. Who knows
thing.
if she'll actually do it.
Right.
Because a lot of these people just say these policies, and then I wonder what percentage of what they say beforehand actually they do.
I looked this up, and they said that it's actually surprisingly positive.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I don't know, but it's Google, and we all know that Google is also manipulated.
Right.
It's not an organic search.
They manipulated the assassination attempt.
Yep, which was crazy.
You couldn't look it up.
Why?
And there's no explanation for that.
And then do you think that people are really falling for that? Or do they say, this is interesting. Why are you doing this? Because that's my reaction. It's like, oh, why are you censoring this? Do you think the masses are like, oh, yeah, let me actually look at the assassination attempt of like Reagan or something instead?
Yeah, I don't know. Because I feel like people in our circle were like more open to seeing the reason behind things. But I'll go to like events where there's a lot of just people, and I don't know, they seem brainwashed.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
It's kind of weird.
It really is. Do you think that it's like an NPC situation? Like, do you think some people just aren't fully online?
I think they've gotten so good at just subconsciously influencing people through the media, through music, through school,
like hypnosis, that
by the time they're an adult, they're just there's so much information in their head that it's hard to break that, opinion.
Yeah, and it sucks when it's someone that you like too.
For real.
Then you just get pushed further, and then they think you're crazy, and you're like, but how don't you see all of this stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, yeah, it should just be about the facts and the policies, not anything else.
Not feelings.
People bring feelings into politics.
Yeah. And I think it's funny because everyone gets so mad at the young, college age or high school age people that are starting to find a political voice. And I think that's why a lot of people were going after Taylor Swift when she formally came out to endorse Kamala.
Right.
But like that's part of growing up is like you're letting your emotions run rampant and make decisions for you, and the way that you see the world is with like this bleeding heart, and you want to fix everything. And I think that that's normal. And then through maturity and time, eventually that hopefully levels out. But like, you can't get mad at a teenage girl or a young girl for behaving like a young girl. That's just a stage.
Yeah. Do you have a lot of friends scared to voice their opinion politically?
Oh, yeah.
Same.
Yeah. People just avoid it altogether. Like, we cannot talk about this. I'm like, why? More people need to, because then you realize you're not by yourself, and then that's where you actually start to facilitate some change. But if everyone kind of like pretends that they don't, or when they're doing the polls, like the polling isn't always accurate because they don't want to admit that they're voting for someone because like, oh, well, now you're going to think I'm a bad person. It's like, why are we conflating the two things? That doesn't make sense either. Like, you have no idea why I'm voting this way. So maybe ask and approach it with curiosity instead of automatically dumping me into some bucket. And now you're saying like, I support like conspiracy theories or whatever it is, right? Just like when I posted the Alex Jones, I'm like, well, what about this is like so triggering to you? Because you're not holding anyone else to that same standard, right? Because they talked about him lying. The Sandy Hook thing is like the biggest thing. Right. And he's obviously admitted to that being like a horrible mistake and like wrong. But like name me an anchor that hasn't done that too, or like a public health figure, or even a president that hasn't done that. So if you're going to have that standard, just have it evenly.
Agreed. I mean, no one's shooting 100%, but look how many times Alex Jones has been right. Yeah. It's actually nuts. He called the RFK joining the Trump party like a week in advance, and everyone was like, that's not going to happen. Did
you see there's this old tweet of John McAfee circulating
no,
today?
I didn't see it.
It was from 2020, and he said there was a time traveler. He just met a time traveler, and what he told him was that Biden steps down because of mental health issues, and you won't believe who they replace him with.
No way.
Yes.
What?
I'm like, holy cow.
So time travel is real.
According to John McAfee, and this tweet was from 2020.
I mean, what are the odds of that?
What are the odds of that?
That's nuts. I don't like how his demise was crazy.
No, I believe I'm the last person to interview him too,
really?
Which is bonkers.
Whoa.
Yeah, we did it was obviously digital because he was over in Europe, and then it was 2 weeks later, and I was like, holy cow.
What was he like mentally on that interview?
He was fine. I mean, he's definitely a character, and he was playing into it, but by no means did he seem
right.
And I was talking to him and his wife before, and it doesn't make sense to me.
It seems very easy once you're in the prison system to just get
cut
killed.
The camera.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
Because it's already a violent environment. So you're like,
yeah.
Of course violence is going to happen in a prison.
It's crazy that we didn't find out what actually happened with that, too. Like, nothing ever came out. Mm-hmm. Same with Epstein. And you got his brother going on podcasts. Like, even he doesn't know what happened.
Wow.
Like, it's sad. Mm-hmm. Like, you should at least have that closure on, like, who killed your friend or brother or whatever. Mm-hmm. It's nuts. It's scary.
It's really scary. How much power there seems to be.
They're saying Trump has 5 groups trying to kill him right now. 5 different organizations.
Holy cow.
Alex Jones tweeted that, yeah.
Man. And then you have to ask yourself, like, why is he doing it? And some people are saying because he'll go to jail if he doesn't do it. But, I mean, the guy is sacrificing a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Like, almost died.
Twice.
Yeah.
Already.
He's a grandfather.
Yeah. His grandkid just endorsed him. Did you see that?
No.
Oh, you didn't see that?
No. That's cute, though. That's so cute.
Meanwhile, you got Tim Walz's family not even endorsing him. Mm. That's a bad sign, right?
Yeah, I think so.
If your own family.
Yeah.
I mean, family's important.
Family's
if your own family is not supporting you, to me, that's a bad sign.
Kind of, but then you have to look at RFK, though, right? Right? So RFK's family and him are very estranged, and they kind of put him on the outside. And I think he's the good guy because his sister seems a little bit nutty, right? She's the person that's helping fund these people. When you see them throwing cans of soup on priceless pieces of art, she's one of the people that's funding all of this.
Damn.
So, like, I actually like that they're not supporting him because if she did, I wouldn't like him.
That was also like a party change too. So I think it was a bit more extreme because he went from Democrat to Republican, and their whole generation was Democrat, like his grandfather and everything.
Yeah, but that has like a whole new meaning too now. So what is a Democrat today versus what was it 20 years ago? They're wildly different things. I think, especially when it comes to the idea of free speech, it is mind blowing that they're the ones that are trying to stifle it the most.
Agreed.
Right? Like liberal liberty, like where did this plot get lost?
Yeah. Do you have people on the left on your show ever?
Yeah, I do. And it's so weird. I feel like I'm a glitch. Like I'm a glitch in the matrix because I find myself in a lot more conservative spaces and they're always so kind and welcoming to me. And a lot of them are like, yeah, I don't really agree with your previous career, or like we have different ideas on what sex and union are. And it's all very polite and very civil. Like I've never really had a bad experience. But on the other side, the side that champions sexuality and sex work and all of that because of my political views and like leanings and opinions, they're like, oh, she's terrible.
Interesting.
And I'm like, what? I thought you guys were the tolerant ones. What's happening?
I didn't know they had that stance on that. Okay.
Oh yeah, I got I was already out of the industry, and this was like the biggest joke. I retired in 2017, and then during 2020 I got like really into politics, and I was vocal about supporting Trump, and there was a blacklist that started going around the industry saying not to work with me, and I was laughing. I'm like, I've been out for 3 years, so okay, make your little blacklist. That's crazy.
Damn, I didn't know the industry was liberal.
Oh, so liberal, yeah.
Holy crap.
Super,
well, follow the
super
money,
duper.
right?
Yeah.
Because 70% of the wealth is in the left party now. I just saw Tucker talk about this, and 30% is Republicans. So they have power.
But isn't it should be unacceptable, and it's really discouraging that money is a factor when it comes to picking our leaders, because it shouldn't be.
It shouldn't be, but Kamala's raising 3 times what Trump's raising, so I get her ads every day. I just drove back from LA. She was on every Spotify ad the way home. I get mail ads, newspaper ads, everything.
I get so many texts, and then I forget which one of my friends gave me this idea, but I started sending back an AI picture of Trump and Kamala kissing. So every time someone sends me a text for donations, I just send that.
That's so funny. Is it a real person, or is it like automated?
No, they're real people.
Oh,
they're
like
real. They're campaign people, right? Like they're doing the trail with her and trying to get reach hearts and minds. So I'm like, take this.
It's so crazy because she's
freaking phone number.
She's raising hundreds of millions when that could be used to solve actual issues,
right? No,
homeless people or whatever.
Yeah. Well, we can't do that because then we would lose a lot of jobs.
Right.
Think of all of the people that have to provide for their family to continue the homeless problem. Got to think about them too.
That's true. Yeah, it's bad in Cali. Is that where you're from, Cali?
Yeah, Southern California.
I just got back. There was everywhere. It was crazy.
I haven't been in a long time. The last time I did go, I remember when Venice was beautiful. That's where all the cool people were living, and Santa Monica was all the families, and it was so safe. And then I went back a few years ago, in Santa Monica there was homeless people everywhere coming into the restaurants.
Jeez.
Venice is just, you can't even see the sidewalk. There's so many tents. And I'm like, how are you guys allowing this?
Right.
How you have to fix it before it gets to that point. And then you see these smaller cities. So where I'm at now in North Carolina, we have a pretty decent homeless population, and it's at that point where you have to fix it, or it's gonna exponentially grow into this other thing that you can't fix.
Right. You said in North Carolina? Wow. I didn't even hear about that.
Yeah, it's everywhere. They had a whole camp. The state ended up buying some of the land and leveling it, and then the camp just moved, and I think that actually made it worse because before you knew where they were, and now you don't. And then there was just needles everywhere. So I mean, even in a small, cute little beach town, there's a heroin epidemic and a homeless population that's starting to grow.
And it seems like the government right now is favoring illegals over our own citizens when it comes to shelter.
Well, that, and then also the benefits. So you come over and they're giving you money, a cell phone, you're staying in a nice hotel. It's well, what about our homeless people?
Right.
What about the citizens that you actually have a responsibility for?
And then you start following the money. You see these cities get a budget for the homeless, and then nothing happens. So where's that money going to? So they kind of want homeless people in a sense because they keep getting paid.
Yeah.
You know, it's messed up.
Yeah. It's what do you do?
And some of these government programs in general, I just saw one that was, have you heard of the All In podcast? So they were talking about a program where they were trying to bring Wi-Fi to third world countries, hundreds of millions of dollars budget. They didn't bring any Wi-Fi to anyone. Literally no one got Wi-Fi, and all the money's gone.
And we don't know where it went.
No.
Oh yeah, convenient.
Look into that one. That one will blow your mind. And there's no accountability.
No.
So now with Trump bringing on Elon to help with this government overspending, that's going to be massive because then we could actually fix some problems.
Yeah, and I think it's kind of like the Avengers that I see happening, right? So you've got Trump, and now he's got Elon. You have RFK that's going to help with agriculture. You have Tulsi Gabbard that's helping him. So it's like this really cool hodgepodge of people that are coming together, and they're all so wildly different.
Right.
And then for some, like a party that's always preaching diversity, like that's the most diverse thing I've seen in politics in a long time.
For real, even Vivek too. They got him on there. Yeah, they got a diverse group.
Right. So like maybe if that's the thing that is valuable to you, pay attention to that. Like take your emotions out of it, get rid of the Trump derangement syndrome, and just have a peek.
Yeah. Is North Carolina pretty liberal, or is it?
We're definitely like a flip state, so we'll see where it goes. It was I think we were blue last election cycle, and then before that we were red.
Yeah, I heard it comes down to like PA and a few others this election. So
yeah,
fingers crossed. I'm actually scared. Like,
what do you think?
I hope he wins, but I don't know what poll to trust. There's so many. Every day I see a poll where she's winning and he's winning, so it's like I don't know what to trust.
Yeah, and even though it seems like it's really close, which it is, it's still kind of far out. So I don't know that the polls are going to be accurate anyways, because I think some people might make a last minute decision. But yeah, I don't know. I think it'll be worse if he wins, like momentarily, because every time that it doesn't go the left's way, that's when you see riots. You don't really see it the other way around.
Right.
At least I haven't.
Yeah,
so,
no, that's a good point.
They always say that the right is like so violent and they get so mad about the Second Amendment and yada, yada, yada. But like we don't burn down cities when our candidate loses.
Right. Yeah, so. When I was growing up in Jersey, I thought Republicans were evil. They had guns and they were mean people. You know what I mean? And they're like the nicest dudes.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Just the programming like on the media. It really gets you at a young age. You believe that stuff.
For sure. And then your parents' influence is also really important.
Yeah. They say it's the middle class like party, right? Being Democrat.
That's what they say, but then it doesn't explain all the service members, because they're all technically middle class, like military, first responders, nurses. Like they tend to all, well, not nurses, I'll take that one back, but military and first responders, they all tend to kind of lean right, and they're not making a ton of money.
Right. Yeah, I've seen a bunch of police officers back Trump, like multiple cities.
Yeah.
And firefighters. So that's a good point. And they're serving the country, so they actually know what the issue is. And a lot of military guys support Trump, too.
Yeah, and I think, did you see, I think it was during the debate, or maybe it was a campaign ad, and they were trying to actually, like, knock Trump. They were using part of an interview where they were asking him about the Ukraine-Russia war, and she's like, which side do you support? And he goes, I support saving lives and, like, ending it, figuring out how to do this through dialogue and trying to come to some agreement. And they're like, see, he's soft on Russia. I was like, no, he just doesn't want to like have American citizens get murdered and mowed down for no reason. That's
right.
what, you know what I mean?
Yeah, he's anti-war.
He's anti-war, but they were trying to paint him as like weak or a Russian asset. I was like, no, you're weak because you're going straight to violence every time because you want to get paid.
And that's why I like him, because war fuels the economy, so it makes us a lot of money, but he puts human lives over that. So I love that stance.
Yeah, exactly.
But most other presidents are willing to start wars just to fuel the economy. But then lives are lost. So
yeah, exactly.
Yeah. How tough was it retiring in 17? Was that a big moment for you?
It was really scary.
It was? Did you have a safety net?
No.
Oh, you didn't have a financial safety net?
No. And I was like the main earner. So it was terrifying. And I had probably been thinking about it for at least a year before I did it. And I had this fear that I was going to, be forgotten, not be able to turn it into something else, or that decision was so taboo that it was going to close every other opportunity off. And it just like lots of what ifs and a lot of self-doubt. But for me, like I'm really intuitive. I believe in listening to your body and like hints from like God or whatever. Like I think there's always little breadcrumbs of what is the right path for you. And I kept getting like really huge cysts every time I was trying to book a shoot. I was living in North Carolina, so I'd have to fly to LA. So I'd go to book a shoot. And when I say a big cyst, I mean like the size of a lemon, to where my doctor was like, if this bursts, you will have to go to the hospital, so you can't shoot.
Holy crap.
So I'd have to cancel. And this happened at least 3 or 4 times. And I was like, okay, I have been done. And for some reason, I'm letting fear make a decision. And I'm really big into not doing that. Like, I think if you're scared, like, do the thing. So yeah, fear was making me, I have all of that self-doubt. So I was like, no, it's just time. I'm gonna listen to my body and listen to the timing, and I'll figure it out. And it was just, I had kind of bad experience after bad experience that I was, it's okay. I'll just not work with that person, or this is just normal for the industry. Like, of course they're going to push my boundary, or of course they're going to try to get more for their money, and and just kind of looking at objectively. And I was like, no, this is really and I just shouldn't be putting myself in this situation anymore.
Dang. So was the fear and anxiety causing those physical cysts on your body? What was that?
No, I think that was, in a weird way, that was fate telling me to be done.
Wow.
Yeah.
So it was a sign, you think, to end it.
I do.
Damn, that's crazy. But then OF kind of changed the game, right?
So first it was Snapchat. So everyone was kind of using Snapchat in a way it wasn't meant to be used.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, like sign up for
Premium Snap.
Yeah, it was massive. And then it was so cool because for the first time, performers got to see their actual value. Because we have always been told, you're worth a couple $100. You're not worth royalties. We're not making a lot of money. Meanwhile, it's a multi-billion-dollar monopoly, essentially. And all of these guys are driving exotic cars, living in mansions, have multiple houses around the world. But you're telling me there's no profit margin and I'm only worth $600. This is really crazy. So you have that model, and then you have a, basically it starts to get decentralized. And then the same performer who's being told she's worth, we'll say average about $1,200 a scene, is now making, I don't know, like $50K in a month. She's like, whoa, hold on. That's my brand. That's the value of my brand. So it started giving options to performers to where they could actually exercise their agency and not be bullied into doing certain scenes or having a cap on what they're charging. And I think it was really good.
For sure, because it's a safer environment. You get to choose who you're filming with. Before you would show up, and did you even know the guy half the time?
Well, for me, I had a yes list. So I only worked with people off of a list, and I was told I couldn't do that.
Oh,
it's
really?
Like, yeah. And I'm like, oh, it's my body. So this is my, this is my yes list. And then people, like other girls, would kind of look at me like, like, I didn't know that was an option, but they wouldn't follow suit because I got labeled as difficult. I got labeled as being a diva, and I wasn't booked as much as other people because of these things. So I think that they chose to be busy and to be agreeable and nice and have a better reputation than doing what they actually wanted to do, where I just didn't give a shit. So I was like, this is the way I'm going to do it if I'm going to do it.
And were you getting in that industry for money primarily?
No, actually I wasn't. And I know people are probably going to say that you're full of shit, but I was working, I had 3 jobs. I was bartending, and I was working at Hooters and another, like, just a small pub. But I was working at a Hooters in Myrtle Beach, which is golf mecca of the country. So I would easily clear like around $1,000 a shift.
Wow.
I know. Crazy, like slinging chicken wings. So that actually saved me, because when I started shooting and they would start quoting me for scenes, they would lowball me. And I'm like, I make more selling chicken wings. I'm not doing that. And then these other girls were like, she thinks she's better than us. I was like, no, you guys just don't understand. That's not enough money for what you're doing. It's not even close. So I think that going in, being already kind of financially stable in some sense helped me. And then it also helped me not work with certain dodgy companies because they couldn't afford to book me for scenes because I wouldn't go lower than a certain scene. So in a weird way, again, like everything kind of lined up for me.
That for sure helped, because you weren't as desperate to just take every single offer you got.
Yeah, exactly. No, for me, it's weird. It's something that I can't really pinpoint, like this is the exact reason that I got in. I think it's a whole host of reasons. Like part of it is absolutely going to be childhood and how you were parented and your relationship and all of these things, and culture and what is popular at the moment and what is being thrust onto young girls as like, this is what you should want to do. So all of that, yes. But for me, when I made the decision to finally get in, it was like this really weird pull of needing to figure out who I was. And I didn't know. And I had like a real aversion to like my sensuality and my sexuality. Like I was really, really rigid, and I didn't want to be. And I knew like it wasn't mine. It was kind of given to me from other people and other things. And for some reason, that was the place I wanted to kind of discover it. And I know that's like the most extreme, but I was kind of called to it.
So you used it to find yourself in a way.
I did.
That is interesting.
I did.
I've never heard that angle, because I feel like a lot of women do it for money primarily, right?
And that's the worst thing you could do, because the average career is about a year.
That's it?
That's it.
Damn.
And most people, because they get in so young, because they get in 18, which is insane. They don't understand taxes. So then they spend everything they make. They end up owing 30% at the end of the year, and they don't have it. So they actually leave in debt, which is terrible. So now you have this thing on the internet forever that is going to create problems if it did well, right? And now you're in debt. So what was it all for?
Right.
Yeah.
And I've seen a couple former adult actresses talk about it negatively, like Mia and Lana, right?
Yeah. It's important. Like, everyone has their own experience in any industry, right? So you can go in the music industry, like we were talking, and there is going to be like corruption and just like illegal activity and all of the things. I think that exists everywhere. I think it's more salacious in the industry because it's so personal. It's your body. And I think that that's where that transgression like gets more attention.
Right.
I think it's really important to have boundaries. Most women have a really hard time saying no. And if they have a no, then they try to explain it. And then that gets you into more of a mess. And it's not victim blaming at all. But I am saying, like, if you don't say no, then you're leaving the door open for a yes later. And I have been in several situations where it could have gone very bad. And if I didn't say no, and if I didn't have my boundary, then I would probably have a very similar story to both of them. But I didn't. Like, I've always been like a little bit more disagreeable. It's just kind of my nature, and that's helped me as well. But yeah, I mean, I think there's a lot of things that need to change in the industry. It makes no sense that for mainstream acting that they have intimacy coaches, but for actually having sex, there's no intimacy coach, right? So, and the role of that person is to make sure that consent is there, that both partners understand like do's and don'ts, boundaries, what happens, how to stop, all of this. It keeps everyone safe.
Right.
So you have it for this thing where it's much less likely that it's going to go bad, and you don't have it where you're actually playing a more high stakes game. That doesn't make sense. And again, there are plenty of resources. So for the companies to say we can't swing it is
yeah, they need that, especially if they have the budget for it.
Yeah, they do. I don't want to see you driving 5 Ferraris and tell me that you can't have someone on set for $150 to make sure that no one gets assaulted.
Right. Damn, so that happened?
It happens all the time, yeah.
Holy crap.
One of my really like good girlfriends from the industry, and she's a huge name, got assaulted on a scene, and it was very, very public, and she was public about it. I don't know if like... you can look it up, but it was Nikki Benz with Brazzers. I don't know how it ended, but it was... She's a huge name.
Yeah, she's been on the show.
So if you do that to her, what are you doing to someone who no one knows?
Right.
And that's a huge company. And the thing is these big companies, like as bad as they can be from time to time, they're nowhere near as bad as the ones that are like the dodgy, website that someone just throws up and a guy with a handy cam. Like those are even worse. So I don't know. It's you have to take your safety into your own hands to some point, right?
Yeah.
Like you're responsible for your own safety. So don't put yourself in situations that are going to be a really big problem. Always have someone know where you are. Don't just show up to a shoot, and not tell anyone because you're embarrassed. That's so dangerous. But yeah, I think that the industry definitely capitalizes and takes advantage of girls for sure.
That's crazy. So were there times you felt like kind of unsafe?
Yeah. Absolutely. And I've had directors like put their hands on me in the middle of a scene, which they have no business doing. Like, you're the cameraman. I've had people say like, well, if you say anything, we'll get you blacklisted. I'm such a big deal, so they'll try to pressure you into things. I've showed up to sets that were supposed to be just like a girl set, which is very mild. And they're like, you're doing today. And I'm like, excuse me. And then a female director on set saying like, well, we kind of have to keep going. Like how dare you?
Damn.
And sometimes the women are the worst. They're the worst.
The directors.
Yeah, because to get to that level of success, you kind of have to play like the boys game and shed off any feminine energy that you have, any need to nurture or protect, like the things that are natural to you. So they end up being more masculine and aggressive than the men.
Interesting. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense though. Holy crap. Yeah, I didn't know all this went on behind the scenes because as a consumer, they just show up and watch the video. They don't even think about this stuff.
Right, which is why there's this really good book. It's called Ethical by David Lay. I recommend it. He's awesome. He's a psychologist, really cool dude. But we have this idea that all is unethical, and I don't agree with that. So it's like, if you want to make sure that all of it is consensual, of age, legal, right? Support the creator. Don't support these big companies, because these big companies chew these people up and spit them out. They don't give a shit. None of them give a shit. So if you're going to consume it, I think following individual creators and OnlyFans and things like that, that's the way to do it.
Yeah, absolutely. What do you think of that documentary on Netflix that was viral a few years ago?
Is that the trafficking hub thing?
I think it was, yeah. They got in trouble for human trafficking or something.
So the human trafficking label is really interesting. We helped get a nonprofit off of the ground that works in Nepal, but now they kind of train globally, like boots on the ground, to help like save women and children from the sex trade. So it's something like we're really involved in trying to eradicate. The term, though, is a problem because it applies to so many things. So you can take a consenting adult who's, let's say, an escort, travel her across state lines for a party, and that's trafficking.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
So we can't call that trafficking because you're actually doing a disservice to victims that are like being chained to floors. Those are very different things. So I question what the trafficking charges actually were. And then when it comes to all of the illegal content that was on the platform, well, obviously that's disgusting and not okay. And the way they were operating was reckless. Like anyone can upload without any verification, IDs, or a video saying I consent is abominable. I agree with that. But the amount of videos that they found on was something loosely around 20 million. Now that sounds like a lot until you hear Facebook's numbers. Facebook reported over 150 million pieces of abuse content, and abuse content also includes children and minors. So you have 20 million and you have over 150 million. The difference is Facebook is self-reporting what they find, or some of what they find, where made it a little bit more difficult. So I think that played into public perception. But if you're online, it exists. If it's on a platform, it exists. So how do you get around this? And especially with the development of decentralized internet via satellites and then Web3, I don't know that you can.
It's going to be
and
tough.
Then AI makes it so much worse. And there was this movement of some people where they were saying, like, let's make AI content with children, and that will save real children. Which yeah, I know, bonkers. This was being propped up. Well, what's happening is that is actually happening now, and the AI is so hyper realistic that now professionals are having a hard time distinguishing, is this a real child or is this not a real child? And it's making it so much more dangerous for the kids. So whoever had that idea, it was very dumb and it's very wrong, and it does not work.
That's disgusting.
It's disgusting.
Yeah, I remember when the deepfake porn was a big deal, right?
Yeah.
They would put celebrities on bodies. It's probably so accurate now.
Yeah.
That's scary.
And it's only going to get better.
Yeah, that's really concerning. Oh my gosh. Yeah, the trafficking thing is good to know, because I think when the general person hears that term, like they see Tate trafficking and Diddy trafficking, they think of like the handcuff thing.
Yeah, no, it's that whole spectrum. So I think that needs to be way more concentrated and defined, because the way that it's too broad.
Way too broad. Because even when I heard the Tate trafficking thing, I was like, what? He's tying people up? Like he's trafficking?
No, that's what they want you to think.
Yeah.
But they can very loosely.
So if you just fly an escort out to a different country.
State even.
That's trafficking?
Yeah.
What?
Yes.
That's so nuts.
I know.
Because that's a felony. That's like a big charge.
Yeah. And to pretend that that's the same thing is it's so dishonest.
Holy crap. That's nuts. So transitioning from that industry into politics, I mean, that's total 180, right?
Yes and no. I feel like sex has always been political.
Has it?
I think so. I think historically it's always been something that is very evocative. It makes people very charged one way or the other. I think that there has always been, specifically with the female body, it's always been political. So like what you can show, how you can use it, like what's yours, what's not yours, it's always been political. Interesting. Yeah.
That's a fascinating take. I never thought of it that way. But do you get a lot of like hate?
Oh, of course, because everyone expects me to be liberal, because they're like, well, that's the side that supports your industry. And I don't care what they like. I'm my own person, and what's most important to me are these other things. And in my personal experience, again, a lot of people on the right are fine, and most people aren't trying to make it illegal. Some people absolutely are. There's no question about that. And there are also some people on like the radical left that want to make it illegal as well. It's part of the First Amendment. It's going to stay there. It should stay there, so long as it's consenting adults, right? Like I think it is absolutely a form of expression that you're allowed to do as an adult. And it's regulated. I can't go do it on the street, right? So it's on a digital space, or it's in certain places like a strip club or what have you. So it is regulated, and it should be.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think they expect me to be on the party that is championing sex work is work. But the problem with that is, okay, well, what does that look like? What does legal or decriminalization or legalization look like? Because what you see now in like some of like the California more radical cities is it's just everywhere. It's openly available. You have girls walking on the street. Now you have more violence because you have more pimps. Like, that's not good either. So I think that people need to have more of a plan for it.
Right. Yeah, I noticed certain states you have to prove your identity now to watch it, right?
Which is really weird because they're doing it under the guise of protecting children, but based off of all of the evidence, that doesn't make it look a difference because kids are way smarter than most of their parents when it comes to tech. You get a VPN and you go right around it. You're banning the biggest sites that actually are the most scrutinized, so they actually have the most above board content, and over 80% of kids that stumble across their first piece of explicit content, it's actually on a social media site.
Wow.
It's not on a site. So you're keeping them away from this boogeyman, but really the other thing is the thing you should be concerned about: the TikTok, the Snapchat, Telegram, all of these things. That is way more dangerous for a kid. And also you need to have protective downloads on your phone if you're giving your kid access. Like, it is such a powerful piece of technology, and you're going to give it to your 8-year-old, and then you're going to say it's the content that's the problem, or that it's the government's job to protect your kid. No, you're being a parent because you gave your kid a cell phone.
Yeah, 100%.
Don't do that.
You could log in Twitter and see porn right now.
Yeah, don't do that.
Yeah. Wow, so you don't agree with that ban then?
No, because I think it's infringing on like a very intimate, private thing, and I don't think the government belongs in your bedroom.
And that probably affected a lot of views and money for the creators, right?
Well, right now it's only and is notorious for not paying anybody. Okay. So the performers back them because if you rank well on it's like a pat on your back accolade that means absolutely nothing. But they're a sister company to a big shell company that owns every single basically every big brand name in the US. So they just don't want to piss them off and lose work. So it doesn't affect them. And I honestly think most creators are now like making money on OF.
Yeah. A lot of the big ones left. Yeah.
Why would you? Why am I going to go to a set for 8 hours, risk my safety to some degree when I can do this at home in 10 minutes
and make way more?
And everything is on my own terms.
Absolutely. So how do those rankings work? Is it based off views?
Partially, yes, but like any other social, you can kind of mess with the algorithm, so they'll kind of prop up who they want to prop up to some extent.
It's like YouTube.
Yeah.
Damn. Yeah, you see that on every platform. Like, some people just get so pushed. It's like, all right, who are you talking with there?
Exactly. Exactly. Who do I need to be talking to?
Yeah, damn. That's wild. Well, election's coming up, so vote, guys. Otherwise, any closing messages here?
No, just thank you for having me on the show, and hopefully people liked the episode.
Absolutely, and check out your show,
Chatting with Candice.
And you have another one?
Canceled Weekly, yes.
Cool, yeah, we'll link those below. Thanks for coming on.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah, thanks for watching, guys. See you next time.